Never have I felt more validated than I do in this exact moment. This is absolutely beautiful. This is poetry in motion. This is exactly what I've been talking about. And this is exactly what we want as San Antonio Spurs fans. And I'll tell you why.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
So the Atlanta Hawks are falling apart right in front of our eyes. Now, here's the thing, okay? There's a petty side of me and then there's an objective side of me, okay? The petty side of me, obviously, I don't want the Atlanta Hawks to do well because of this statement right here from DeJounte Murray, in which he said, hey, the way that system's set up over there in San Antonio, yeah, you're going to be losing for the next 15 years, problem bigger than basketball. And after we go over this article in particular, you'll see that actually, in actuality, the problem that's bigger than basketball is the problem that's bigger than basketball in the Atlanta Hawks organization, that is. So yeah, petty side of me definitely want them to lose because of this type of statement. I absolutely hated that. But not only that, objectively speaking, this actually helps us quite a bit because this is more evidence that I think that in the future, the Atlanta Hawks by 2025, they might be in rebuild mode. They might have to go in rebuild mode because things are absolutely falling apart from the top down. When a lot of people talk about how the Spurs should change their culture, if I look at the Atlanta Hawks right now, it looks as if their organization at the top needs to change their culture. The players need to probably change, and the coaching it's been awful. Okay, I watched these games. It's been god awful, such a stagnant offense that is. So we're going to talk about that. Now, before we do, if you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description if you guys want to support your boy. I really do appreciate all love. This is actually a brand new drop right here, and I have another one coming as well, still working on it, but it should be out by this weekend. So just check back in if you want to just, try to get something different. But yeah, just go check out the shop at the very least. All right, so let's go through this. So there's been quite a few people posting quotes from this article. So I didn't read the article all the way through. I keyed in on DeJounte Murray's part. I keyed in on John Collins' part. And there's a few details that it's awful. It's god awful with their organization right now. But I do want to at least go over some of the highlights of this article and just read through with you guys, because there's going to be a few things that probably shock me as well. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. So this is from The Athletic, and it says, inside the end of Travis Schlenk, I can never say that name right. That was basically our GM era in Atlanta, the Hawks' new power structure and how it's impacting the team. Oh gosh. All right, so he first off lays out a few key names that you might need to know. You definitely need to know, okay? General Manager Landry Fields, the 34-year-old former NBA player who was elevated from his assistant general manager role in June, who now heads the front office after the shakeup, and who previously worked for the San Antonio Spurs as a scout and general manager of our G League team. And then there's Nick Ressler. Now remember Nick, okay? Nick. So he's 27-year-old. He's basically the son of the owner, and he has substantial influence on the roster and staffing decision. Nepotism to its finest. And we actually owe a lot to Nick, but we'll get to that in a minute. Ryan Silverstein, the team's coordinator of cap strategy and administration, and a close friend, Nick, who, according to his LinkedIn page, became a front office assistant for the Hawks back in 2017. We also have Grant Liffman here, the 35-year-old who spent his last 6 seasons covering Golden State as a media member for NBA Sports Bay Area, and who was hired as a pro personnel scout in June and is close friends with Fields. You kind of see where this is going. So first and foremost, Landry Fields becomes general manager. Not to say that he doesn't deserve the job, because he has been a scout for the Spurs. He was a general manager for the G League. But as soon as he becomes GM, he basically gets rid of the people that are already there. He got rid of a few people, and he hired his friend, who only experience he has, at least the last 6 seasons, the experience he has is being a media member for NBA Sports Bay Area. Along with that, you have Nick, who's been influencing so much of the front office and he, you know, someone who's very close to the team's coordinator of cap strategy since 2017, is his friend. Like is a really good friend of his. So this is not good. But moving on, we'll see why it's not good in a minute. So it says it's normal for team executives to travel to road games, especially with the February 9th trade deadline nearing and the intel sharing game ramping up as a result. But you don't typically see a team's brain trust shows out in those kinds of team's brain trust shows out in those kinds of numbers. That's kind of weird way. In terms of Hawks officials who matter most in the wake of all this change, the only one missing was former NBA player Kyle Korver, the team's director of player affairs and development, who league sources say may be headed for an assistant general manager role. VP of basketball strategy and analytics, Dwight Lutz, and senior director of player personnel, Doughton Akinwale Jr. Were on the trip as well. All right. We don't care about all this, right? We don't care about all this. Let's go ahead and skip through just a little bit. At Fox Sports, Rich Butcher, reported recently, league sources confirmed that The Athletic that Nick Wrestler's effect on the decision-making process played a pivotal part in the power dynamics that ultimately led to Schlenk exile. This was a bit of an open secret around the league, and it is clear that Nick's voice is being heavily considered on all things Hawks these days. This is terrible, okay? This is god awful. Now, this article goes on to talk about the deal between the San Antonio Spurs and the Atlanta Hawks, and if you read through, what you'll find out is actually, in actuality, the previous GM didn't want to give up as much as they did. You can see here 3 first rounders, a first round pick swap, and Gallinari, and he did not want to do it. Nick, known to be a driving force behind the deal. Now, I said this, okay? I was very clear on this, and some people didn't like it. Obviously, Twitter, Atlanta fans really hated me, right? And can I say this really quick? I have no ill will against Atlanta, other than this from DeJounte Murray and the fact that objectively we need them to, or we need, if Atlanta Hawks fans watch, we need you guys to do bad by 2025. Other than that, I have no ill will versus the Atlanta Hawks, okay? I actually really adored the Atlanta Hawks in, say, 2015, when a lot of people were calling them the San Antonio Spurs of the East and all of that. Like, it was some really good basketball being played over there in Atlanta. So I have nothing against Atlanta personally, okay? It's just the comments from DJ, and it's just the fact that we have so many of your picks. But this right here, though, this is not good. And I said back when this happened that we were the clear winners of it. We all know that the San Antonio Spurs were going to tank. And when it came to DJ, he's not going to be a star player for us. It's going to be several years before the San Antonio Spurs are even ready to compete deep into the playoffs, if not the finals. So obviously speaking, DeJounte Murray being on the squad and him potentially needing a bigger contract just doesn't make sense for the Spurs. He wasn't going to do an extension because it wasn't going to be that much of a raise, and then we would have to wait like 2 years and then sign him to a big deal. Doesn't make sense. It wouldn't help anything. Not good for him, not good for us. Just bad idea, okay? So the San Antonio Spurs, while the iron was hot, they went ahead and moved him. As soon as he made the All-Star appearance, near triple-double, he was a hot commodity for a few teams, and the Atlanta Hawks pulled the trigger. But that's the funny part. I questioned when they did this. I said, what the heck were they thinking? And apparently their GM was expressing a lot of concerns about the price being paid. I had no idea that the owner's son is the one going around making these deals. It is let me be clear, this is an asinine deal from the Atlanta Hawks standpoint, okay? I don't know where they were coming from with this, and this isn't me saying DeJounte Murray's a bad player. No. It's just that when you get rid of 4 picks, 3 first-round picks, when you get rid of that many picks, that's usually for a player that is a superstar talent. That's what that's reserved for. You don't give up that many picks for DeJounte Murray. It just doesn't make sense. Now, DJ, is he a good player? Yes, he's a good player. And technically, if you were playing 2K, it makes sense. I mean, you need a little bit more defense in the backcourt. DeJounte can give you that. You need another all-star caliber player next to Trae Young, because if you look around the league, you need your duos, right? So yeah, technically that makes sense, but it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Because before we get rid, because I really want to go into, and I'm sorry, this is going to be a long video, but I really want to go into the other quotes. But before we do, let me just say this really quickly. DeJounte Murray next to Trae Young, in my opinion, doesn't make sense. If you look at Trae Young, he is a great facilitator, great scorer, blah, blah, blah. You look at DeJounte Murray, what role would he play on the court with Trae Young? He's not a great off-ball scorer. He's more of a ball-dominant point guard. And then even on top of that, you would benefit more with Trae Young having the ball in his hands. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, right? I just feel like DJ at this point, while he's a really good player, while he's made some really good plays throughout the season, has some pretty good games, it's just not going to pan out if him and Trae Young are the main guys. Not only that, all the drama that's coming from John Collins and the trade rumors there, and they've been trying to get rid of him for the longest. It's just a bad outlook at this point. DJ's trade value, I mean, I don't even think they're allowed to trade him. I know some people have brought that up, like maybe they should trade DJ. I don't think they're allowed. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that I don't think they're allowed to trade him yet. But anyways, look, all I'm trying to say is, as far as on the court, I didn't think it made a lot of sense. I didn't think that this was a really good matchup, especially for the price that you're going to be paying down the line if you are willing to give DJ even more and more money, and all of these picks that you gave up. These are valuable in the NBA. All right, so let's go ahead and skip all that. I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there. So this is DeJounte Murray's statement. So put yourself in Murray's shoes. All right, this is good. It's about to get real good, guys. All right, when the 26-year-old guard first came to town, his enthusiasm with the move was well chronicled. Oh, you think? He even tweeted out, I don't know if they have it here, but he even tweeted out at the time, like, oh, I've never been happier in my life. Something like that. It was something, and a lot of Spurs fans like, really, bro? Like, yeah, I'm moving on. But now, amid all these on-court struggles, Murray now finds himself navigating an environment that is wholly different from the only other NBA spot he's ever known. He spent the first 6 seasons with the Spurs organization that is known for its lack of drama. As he admitted, the transition from there to here has been challenging. Oh, you think? All right, so let's go and read this. And keep in mind, DJ said that our problem in San Antonio is bigger than basketball, and we're going to be losing for the next 15 years. So if you have any type of sympathy, please don't. All right, so this is what he had to say. I mean, that's a lot going on. That's non-basketball. And then with basketball, you've got guys in trade rumors. It's obviously more than. He paused to deliberate his message before continuing. I wouldn't say more than what I expected, but more than where I came from in San Antonio, where everything was just not as loud. There's a lot going on, but for me, I'm just trying to keep guys together with my leadership, showing up to work, working hard, being vocal, and keeping us together, and trying to keep the outside noise the outside noise. Also, keep in mind that DJ also said that he wanted to go to the Atlanta Hawks because of their crowd. He liked that environment. He wanted that environment. He wanted it to be loud, and things are getting pretty loud. Also, I know I'm being petty. I'm being a jerk, okay? Let me say this about DJ. DJ is a very, he is a very, how could I put it? Just hard worker, I guess. He does lead by example, and I don't think that he's a cancer in the locker room, okay? I know some people have thought that I've said that before. I never said that. DJ isn't a cancer in the locker room, okay? He's a fine locker room guy. He's just a little weird when it comes to hanging out with, you know, his teammates or doing stuff in San Antonio when he was with the Spurs. But as far as him as a basketball player or whatnot, he's not a cancer in the locker room. I think he's, if anything, a pretty decent like teammate to play with. But when it comes to Trae Young, some of the stuff that's came out of there, I have no idea. So obviously with Murray, you come from an organization that's very professional, very on the hush hush, very quiet, and then you go over to the Atlanta Hawks. It's just, I don't know, culture shock, I guess. But at the end of the day, we all see it. You can't hide it, or you can't hide, sorry. You can't run from it. For me, like I say, and I always preach, adversity shows what you're built of and who you are. I love adversity. From where I come from, he does this all the time. To make it to the NBA, getting overlooked, getting hurt, being out a whole year, just fighting. No matter what, adversity, it helps build you up. So like I said, there's a lot of noise, but at the end of the day, winning takes care of it all. So we need to control what we can control, continue to come together as brothers and try to go out and win basketball games. I don't think that's gonna happen. But moving on, they talk about his stats, blah, blah, blah. Murray's elite defensive skills have helped matters on that end, as the Hawks are currently 15th in defensive rating after finishing 26th in 2021-22 season. And that's with center Clint Capella playing just one game since suffering a calf injury in mid-December. Moving on. I'm trying to figure this out, Murray said when asked about the big picture view. I'm trying to figure this out and kind of find my niche in Atlanta, get comfortable in Atlanta. Obviously, it is a business, like you said. At the end of the day, when that free agency time comes, I'm focusing on basketball right now. They brought me here to win, so I've got to continue to grow, continue to get better, learn, figure out my teammates, and try to get us to wins. That's what he had to say. Now, here's Trae Young, which I didn't know that they, okay, this is new to me. They interviewed Trae Young? Hold on. Young was on his way out of the, oh, okay, all right. He was on his way out of the visitors' locker room when we spoke. And once the conversation shifted to some of the less flattering subplots that have unfolded in recent months, it was clear he wasn't interested in sharing his innermost thoughts. I don't like that. See, DJ, as much crap as I talk about DJ, and I have no sympathy, at least DJ will speak up. Okay, when things go down, he'll have something to say. Okay, he'll take on that leadership role vocally, communication wise. I don't like this. So the questions start to get a little rough and he runs from it. But this isn't the first time. So this is what he has to say. New season, new teammates. We're just trying to get it right and get healthy. We'll be all right. We beat really good teams. We've lost to teams where we feel like we should have won. It's really just about us and us taking care of what we can control and making sure we're ready every night. We've done a bad job sometimes of just kind of not being ready sometimes. We've done a bad job sometimes of just kind of not being ready sometimes. Okay. Maybe it's because we've got new guys. You never know. But if we get into a rhythm, that's all it takes. You get into a rhythm with one game, two game, and then it'll take care of itself. It won't. I'm being a jerk. I'm sorry. I'm being a jerk. I know, especially after a game like this, you're not in a big picture headspace, but I do wonder how you see the state of the operation. You're talking about the front office change, the stuff with your coach. How are you feeling about all of it? Here we go. I'm fine. I feel like there's a lot of people outside that don't really understand what's going on inside. I hate this, man. Oh my God, dude. You're just on the outside. You don't get it, bro. Me not showing up to a game, it's more than, it's bigger than basketball. I kind of laugh at it sometimes when people want to assume things and whatever. What did you dude, this whole time he didn't explain anything. Like, what are you talking about? People just assume. What are they going to do? Of course they're going to make assumptions. So they come to you to ask you, and then you say, hey, you don't understand. You're on the outside. Well, can you make us understand? No, I can't tell you. I just didn't show up to the game. Like, there's nothing I can say. As many likely remember, Young had a similar response last month. Yes, when he addressed his choice not to attend a December 2nd game against Denver. I'll be the first to admit we don't always get the entire story. Oh my God. And that's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. Shut up. But we get some, and you should get some, but then you should stay private on some things too. I'm good, man. Okay. To me, the important takeaway is that you're a guy leading this thing. So where's your confidence level? My confidence level is high. Well, yeah, he's going to say that. Is Landry a good guy to lead things? Great guy. Landry's a great guy. Yeah, you don't want to talk about it. So there's confidence there. The confidence is always there. Yeah, okay. All right, so this is what John Collins had to say. Now, I think I saw this on Twitter. This one's pretty bad. The air quotes said it all. When Collins brought up the Schlenk, oh my God, the last GM situation, unsolicited, I might add, during the end of our aforementioned chat, his analysis included the universal sign for nonverbal skepticism as he spoke these words. Travis is not with us anymore, or he then raised both his hands in that familiar age-old gesture. He's taken an advisor, God, I can't speak. Sorry, this is a long article. An advisory role. So I know that just changes things. Okay, gosh, John, why would you put air quotes on it? You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff that you never really expect. Guys were hired from certain people. Oh God, they were hired from certain people and this and that, and it just creates uncertainty sometimes. And I feel like that makes stuff harder. Oh man, this front office. Oh man, that's not good. That's not good. But do the players on this team have an understanding of why the front office change was made? No, you know what I mean? I mean, I saw it and we got briefed on it, and they told us what? Who was doing the briefing? You had Landry, the coaches, everybody. Everybody gave their piece on what to expect. And as I said, I didn't try to think about it too much because I know that even if I do go ask or go knocking for that answer, I might not get the real answer. Oh, geez. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Spurs got a lot of transparency with their players. This is a bad look for Atlanta. I wasn't in the room. I don't know what was happening, but I definitely thought it was surprising to say the least. But you know, okay, now what? We got told that right before practice, before the move was announced on December 21st, and now I've got to go practice, get ready, get my body recovered, and get ready to play that night. So I'm going to think about that all day? No, I've got to lock in and focus on my job, and that's the sort of how I'm attacking it. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of different things that can happen any day. You've just got to be ready for anything. Good God. All right. And that's the end of the article. So what are my takeaways? Well, my takeaways are the Atlanta Hawks are in a really bad situation, okay, from top down. You have coaching that hasn't been its best, just to be honest. Personnel that doesn't necessarily fit with each other super well. You got drama amongst the players and the coaches, and there was quite a few articles talking about how the teammates of Trae Young are also kind of fed up with him. And then on top of it, you have nepotism at the top, at the utmost degree. And even when you're hiring guys, they're hiring their friends. So this is a really bad situation with the Atlanta Hawks, and I wouldn't be surprised, especially with their cap situation, them basically giving away their entire future, that they wouldn't have to possibly rebuild after a couple years, and that would be perfect for us. Now I know that's me hoping, but from everything that's coming out, everything that we've been covering thus far, this seems pretty legit. Okay. And on top of it, I think John Collins was probably a little more loose. He's always been pretty loose with his words, but he was probably even more loose with his words because, like DJ said, a lot of these trade rumors going around, it's been surrounding him. Like, he's the main guy that everyone's talking about trading. And by the way, I just want to add this: John Collins and DJ actually play pretty well together. Very similar to DJ's relationship with Jakob. I think him and John Collins play well together, but that's besides the point. Let me go ahead and get out of here. Let me know what you guys think. I know this was a pretty long video, but if you guys want to support the channel, as always, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. I really do appreciate all the love, and I'll get with you guys later. Till next time, bye.